Lucia Johnson, and I love to cook, as you can probably tell. And I live in New York, and I have a very small kitchen. I will show you. This is my kitchen. Very tiny stove, little tiny window. Lots and lots of cooking stuff piled everywhere. But when I moved to New York, most of my girlfriends had clothes, literally, in their stove and used it as a bookcase. And I couldn't afford to go out most of the time because I'm broke. I'm an actress trying to make my living here. So I started cooking. I started cooking, gourmet things like ramen noodles with an egg dropped in the middle. It's like egg drop soup, my own version. But I really became really into cooking when I discovered Fresh Direct. That place is awesome. So basically what I do in Fresh Direct is I find a recipe I want to try. I go to the one-click recipe sections, click it, put it in my cart, they deliver it to my house, and then I cook it. So in a very tiny, little tiny kitchen, I'm going to teach you, I think, how to cook. I get the ingredients kind of sitting out. I need balsamic vinegar for this. Basically what I'm making today is balsamic poached chicken with roast asparagus and potatoes. So one of the first things that Fresh Direct says to do is to cut the veggies. The potatoes, they say, I wash them, of course, but they take these new roasted potatoes and they say to cut them in half or in quarters. So that's pretty much all you have to do. P.S. You don't need really fancy knives to do this. You can do this with anything you've got. These are not fancy knives, but they certainly work. So you can do this. See if I can do this? You can do this. There's the roasted potatoes. Really easy. You can totally do that. You just chop them in half. That's all. So do it up. You can do it. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to drizzle this with olive oil. As for kosher salt, be really, 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 really careful with kosher salt because kosher salt is really strong, and the first couple times I cooked with kosher salt, it was nasty. Everything was really, really strong, but like every recipe calls for it. I don't know why. If you have table salt, it totally works out fine too. Pepper. Buy one of these grinder things because it's really awesome, and everything tastes so much better with this, like when you grind the peppercorns and then you use the table peppercorn. So table salt, cool. Fresh ground pepper, yes. So just basically you take the salt and pepper, you just kind of toss it around here. You hear the kind of shaky, 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 shaky. And you just, see, you just kind of shake, 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 shake. Nothing fancy. And then basically you put it in the oven. So that's all you have to do. So I'm going to heat this to, always check your oven if you live in New York because sometimes you put stuff in there and you don't realize it. Nothing's in my oven, so I'm cool. They are in the oven and ready to go. You know what that is? That's a cooking timer. And you should definitely get one of those. Bring the broth and vinegar to boil. Alright, 1 cup balsamic vinegar. Delicious. And then, after the balsamic vinegar comes, we're going to need the chicken broth. So Fresh Direct, you can buy stuff like this from Fresh Direct, which is like in the container, which I actually think is really yummy, or you can get something that's pre-boiled. You can see, pretty easy. I mean, the hardest thing is opening the container, but I think we can all handle that, right? And then I'm going to let that boil, and then I'm going to put the chicken in there. So they said to shake the potatoes once, so they've been in for about 15 minutes now, so just shake them up, nothing fancy there. It's chicken time. This is my least favorite part because I do not really like touching chicken. Basically, you just take the chicken. I usually rinse it off with a paper towel and then just put it in there. It's chicken. Balsamic vinegar. Are we boiling? Watch pot never boils. I see the first boil, so you know what that means? So, there you go. Chicken in there. for that part. The next thing is the asparagus. This is the asparagus. There's asparagus, I don't know if you've ever had asparagus before. It's really, really good stuff. The thing is, though, it's really woodsy, like crunchy, not at all edible. Down here at the bottom, it's really pretty nasty. So, like, I just kind of break it, and where it breaks naturally, to me, is the good sign. So, like, and then I just throw all this other stuff. All these are just going to get thrown away in the trash. Because one time I tried to make a meal, like, where I saved these, and I froze them, and then I put them in stir-fry, because I thought it would be like the bamboo shoots. And let me tell you, it did not taste good. It was crunchy and woodsy and nasty. So the chicken is cooking on here. The ingredients said to put the water above the chicken so that way everything was covered. So I did that, and then I basically have it on really, really like low heat. It's almost non-existent. It said that I should do that for 15 minutes until it's cooked. It says that I could remove it from the heat, but I don't know, something about that creeps me out. So I'm just going to put it on super low heat for 15 minutes. And then after that, I'm going to cut it up, roast my asparagus for like 20 more minutes with the potatoes. Then I'm going to cut the chicken into slices and drizzle the sauce over the top. So guess what time it is? Next thing we do is we add the asparagus in with the roasted potatoes. Salt and pepper, and then this is going to roast for 12 minutes, and then I'm going to start putting the chicken together. Now we need to check the chicken and get the ball rolling because it's almost dinner time. How are we doing, chicken? Ooh, looks good. So everything's out of the oven, ready. I put the chicken back in the balsamic vinaigrette sauce, and I'm letting it just kind of simmer for a while to give the chicken a little bit more flavor. In the recipe, it said that this would thicken into this sauce like glaze. That didn't quite happen, but it still looks delicious, and it's time to serve it up and give it a shot. Looks delicious, too. And then we're going to try it out on Joe to see what he thinks about it. So, fresh direct, not a cook, but I made a delicious meal, so it's time to eat. So, dinner is served. The first bite, we'll get his opinion. For real?
Very good.
So the worst thing about cooking at home is the dishes. But the best thing about cooking at home is leftovers. This is a lot of food that's left over. And this is all going to go in leftover containers in my fridge for lunch for me and him, which means it saves us money. So start cooking, New York. You can do it. Take the books and the sweaters and the shoes out of your oven and start cooking. Here's a neat trick for you. This is the leftover balsamic vinaigrette and chicken broth, and I'm going to freeze this because then I can use this as a base for a soup. I'm kind of thinking a beef stew because it's really kind of savory and yummy. So just remember, don't throw it out. You can always freeze it and use it for later. So the freezer is your friend.